Welcome back to the deep dive. Today, we're tackling something I think almost everyone has wondered about. How do logistics companies actually handle the absolute nightmare of rising costs, traffic jams, and our constant demand for faster deliveries?
It really is the central paradox of modern delivery, isn't it? The faster we want things, the more the physical world, the gridlock, the unexpected road closures pushes back and makes it all more expensive.
Exactly. And we all know fuel is a massive cost. It's a huge piece of the pie for these companies. But it's not just the price of fuel, it's the waste. A static route plan it just can't keep up with how unpredictable a city is. You end up with all this idling, all this stop-and-go driving. It's just incredibly inefficient, especially during those peak hours.
That's the core vulnerability right there.
Yeah.
Traditional route plans are basically out of date the second a driver pulls out of the warehouse.
Obsolete on arrival.
Yeah, because they can't factor in a sudden accident or, a lane closure 2 miles ahead. They're built on averages, not on what's happening right now.
So that brings us to the industry's answer: dynamic AI routing.
This is the critical evolution. We're talking about artificial intelligence that doesn't just plan a route once and call it a day. It is continuously monitoring the entire network and adjusting delivery routes on the fly based on live real-time data.
So its whole purpose is to keep vehicles moving smoothly.
Exactly. To make sure they're always on the most fuel-efficient, time-optimized path available at any given second.
And this is fundamentally different from just a standard GPS or a map app that just gives you one route at the start.
Oh, absolutely. Those systems are either static or, at best, reactive. This AI is proactive. It's making these constant data-driven decisions to optimize the whole network, not just one truck's trip. And that perpetual optimization, that's how you really start to slash your operational costs.
Okay, so let's unpack the intelligence itself. If this AI is constantly optimizing, what kind of data streams is it actually, processing? It sounds like a huge amount of information.
It's a fire hose of data, for sure, but it's a very structured one. The AI relies on a combination of inputs. You've got your fundamentals, like real-time GPS data from every vehicle in the fleet.
Okay, the basics.
Right. Then you layer on sophisticated traffic analytics from all sorts of sources: city feeds, private data, and then, crucially, you add historical data about how routes have performed in the past. All of that gets fed into these really powerful machine learning algorithms.
The historical data part is what stands out to me. So it's not just looking at the road ahead right now. It's also looking at what happened on this exact street every Tuesday morning for the last year.
Precisely. And that's the key to the predictive part of this.
Yeah.
The goal isn't just to react to traffic that's already there. It's to use those historical patterns, like knowing exactly when a school zone creates a slowdown or which intersection gets jammed between 4.3 and 5:3 p.m. to predict what's about to happen. The system can then steer a driver away from a problem before they even see brake lights.
That's the real game changer. But what about conflicting goals? Let's say one route is shorter but has like 20 traffic lights in heavy city traffic, and another route is a bit longer but it's a smoother bypass road. How does the AI decide which one actually saves more fuel?
That's a great question, and it gets to the complexity of the modeling. The AI isn't just optimizing for speed or distance. It's optimizing for what you could call the path of least resistance.
Least resistance. I like that.
It calculates a kind of holistic cost for the route. It weighs the distance, sure, but also elevation changes, how many traffic signals there are, and this is key, the predicted amount of stop-and-go driving. The algorithms know that accelerating a heavy truck from a dead stop burns way more fuel than cruising at a steady speed, even up a small hill.
So keeping the truck in motion is the priority. Minimizing those expensive stop-start cycles, that's a direct line to fuel efficiency, which is, that's the holy grail for anyone trying to control logistics costs.
Absolutely. By constantly adapting the routes to maintain a steady pace and avoid jams, you just eliminate so much wasted time and energy. And we're starting to see real numbers on this. Some reports show this kind of dynamic routing can cut fuel use by 12 to 18% during peak times?
12 to 18% is. That's transformative for a company's bottom line. But it must go beyond just routing one driver around a bit of construction, right? Where does the system really show its genius?
That's where we get into fleet rebalancing. And this is probably the most valuable and the most complex part of the tech. The AI isn't just a fancy GPS for one driver. It's more like the conductor for the entire orchestra of vehicles.
Tell me more about that. How does it rebalance a fleet?
Okay, so think about a typical day. A driver might finish their route early in one part of the city. Meanwhile, on the other side of town, another driver gets stuck behind a huge accident and is now hours behind with a truck full of packages. In a normal static system, that first driver just heads back to base.
Which is a huge waste of time and resources.
A massive inefficiency, exactly. With dynamic AI, the system sees driver A is now free, and driver B is completely stuck. It will instantly analyze the delayed driver's remaining drops and can redistribute the most urgent ones to driver A, or maybe even a third driver who is nearby. It literally rewrites the delivery plan on the fly based on which vehicle is the most efficient option for a specific delivery at that exact moment.
So it's moving from just pathfinding to true resource management. It's looking at the entire city and all the drivers as one single fluid system.
That's the perfect analogy. It makes sure no single vehicle is overburdened or stuck on a hopeless route, especially when those delivery windows are getting tighter and tighter. But this also raises a really important point about, the human element. How do you get drivers who have years of experience on their routes to trust an AI that's constantly telling them to go a different way?
That has to be a major cultural hurdle to get over.
It is, yeah. The user interface has to be perfect, and the AI suggestions have to prove themselves, and prove themselves quickly. The systems talk directly to the drivers, giving them turn-by-turn guidance, and importantly, explaining why a detour that looks longer on a map will actually save 20 minutes of sitting in traffic.
Yeah.
Once that trust is built, drivers can just focus on driving, not on the stress of navigating chaos. That smooths out the whole operation and really boosts their productivity.
And if we connect this to the bigger picture, logistics companies are always trying to manage growth, right? 10% growth year over year, plus these huge seasonal spikes like for the holidays.
And static systems just completely fall apart under that kind of pressure. This dynamic AI routing provides that essential scalability and flexibility. Just think about the chaos of Black Friday. You've suddenly doubled your package volume, you're bringing on temporary drivers, you're dealing with roads closed for parades or markets.
Yeah, that's way beyond what a spreadsheet can handle.
Totally. The AI system just scales. It can integrate new vehicles, new drivers, new delivery points into the network almost instantly. It makes sure that adding more volume doesn't just mean you have more trucks sitting in the same traffic jams.
So when you put it all together, what does this mean for the bottom line? And I think just as importantly now, for sustainability and the environment.
The long-term benefits are really profound on both fronts. For the business, that 12 to 18% fuel saving is just the start. You add better vehicle use, higher driver productivity. It all flows directly to profitability.
And the sustainability piece isn't just a nice to have, it's a direct result of being more efficient.
Absolutely. When you minimize the total distance traveled by your entire fleet and you slash all that wasted idling time, you are dramatically cutting your CO2 emissions. It turns environmental goals from something in a press release into a core result of how you operate.
But the value doesn't start when the last package is dropped off, does it? The AI is learning and recording everything all day long.
That's right. That data becomes a long-term strategic asset. All that real-time performance data generates these deep, actionable insights. Managers can use it to refine their overall delivery strategies, for sure. But they can also use it to figure out where to place their next open warehouse, or how to adjust their service agreements, or even to fine-tune their vehicle maintenance schedules.
Wait, hold on. Vehicle maintenance. How does a routing AI affect when a truck needs an oil change?
Because the system isn't just tracking miles, it's tracking the kind of miles. It knows how many hard stops a vehicle made, how much time it spent accelerating with a heavy load, how many steep hills it climbed. It gives you a much truer picture of wear and tear than just the odometer. So you can predict which trucks need service sooner, and you move from reactive repairs to predictive maintenance, which saves a ton of money over time.
Wow, so it becomes this continuous cycle of improvement that just keeps driving down costs across the entire operation. So this deep dive has really shown the transformation here. AI is shifting logistics from this old static scheduling model to a dynamic, continuous, data-driven optimization machine. It's directly solving the cost and volatility problems that have plagued the industry for decades.
It really is the necessary next step for global supply chains. You get timely deliveries, you save millions in fuel, and you reduce your environmental footprint, all while dealing with the worst traffic imaginable. And as this tech gets better, its role in managing these huge, unpredictable systems is only going to grow.
So here's a final thought for you to consider. If AI can efficiently manage the incredible complexity of global delivery routes in real time, What other massive chaotic systems, like, say, coordinating emergency services during a natural disaster or managing a city's power grid during a sudden heat wave, what other systems will come to rely entirely on this kind of dynamic predictive rebalancing next?
The things we think of as unmanageable chaos today might just be the routine, optimized systems of tomorrow. Thanks for diving in with us.
We'll catch you on the next deep dive.